Welcome to the Operatory podcast, the podcast about burying the dinosaurs in dentistry, moving past outdated procedures and technology to find a better way. With me, as always, is David Pryor, the man providing the patient's perspective. Thank you very much for being here, sir.
Hey, Bryan, how's it going?
It's going all right, although you were getting a little close for COVID-19 there for a second. I have to treat
I saw the
everybody
panic and fear in your eyes.
Whew, man.
If you knew where I had been, you would be even more scared.
Oh, God. Oh, no.
Did you want to dive into that?
No, that's most definitely not. What I do want to dive into today, though, is something that I like to call the big mo.
Okay.
Motivation.
What?
I think it's important right now in this time of crisis that we talk about motivation and kind of what it is, why it matters, how to leverage it. Because I think, as we've talked about on the other side of this, we're going to be really in the confidence game of getting our patients, our teams on board, getting our practices back revving up. And rather than lament about the fact that we're going to have to look like hazmat people when we go back and see patients and
go in your bunny suit.
Yeah, and have all the new PPE and, lament about what's going on. I want to provide maybe a positive spin on what can we do to motivate people to get back and in a positive way slingshot our practices back to success. And I think a big part of that is motivation. Motivating your team, motivating your patients, motivating yourself, right? And so what I just want to lay it out there, Dave. What do you think from somebody who
does the sales guy think is a motivator?
Yeah. Well, yeah. So what do you think is a motivator?
Well, certainly from somebody that's spent a career in sales, it's always money.
That's what I think most people think.
Yep.
But I don't think that's number one. In fact, all the research shows that's not number one. If you look at a research that they did at Intel in Israel, they had people who were making microchips, and they had 4 different groups. They had a control. They had one that was motivated by money. It was like if you make some number of chips, you get money. They had ones that were just people going, "Ooh, good job, way to go." And then there was one where they gave them pizza if they did a good job. Mm. And pizza and compliments tied, and money actually was a demotivator. Because what happened was that people, if they didn't hit their goal and they didn't get the money, it demotivated them. Mm-hmm. So really what it comes down, and I actually was just listening to another study where they gave kids computers in Africa where there's no schools and said, figure it out. Didn't speak English, and it was all, and when they tested the kids, it was a microbiology class in English. These kids are like in elementary school, no idea about microbiology or English. A single kid with a computer got like, I don't know, it was like 5%. A group of kids around a computer got like 30%, which was like equivalent to a high schooler in the United States. But if they had grandmas standing behind the kids going, good job, good job. And the grandmas knew nothing about microbiology or English. The kids actually got 50%, performed higher than high school kids in taking that course in the United States of America. So so encouragement is a big deal. If you're still locked out of your office, being in contact with your team is very important, and encouraging people. And you were laughing about something, man.
First of all, I'm trying to figure out where you're getting the time to read articles about how these people are getting motivated in Africa around a computer. And then I'm visualizing.
It's called books, Dave. Books. Yes. It's a book called, it's a great book, Abundance by Peter Diamandis. It's in that book. I can't, it's towards the end. Yeah. But yeah, the African microbiology, I might be butchering some of the facts, but directionally correct. And now they have like something called the Grandmas Network, where it's basically just a group of grandmas that donate their time to go, yay, good job. That's all they do, and it like makes kids wildly effective. So it's called books.
Okay.
Yes.
Books. Okay. Got it. Let me make a note.
So now I should say, Dave, good job reading that book. Oh, wait. Didn't happen. And so one piece I believe of motivation is like the cheerleader encouragement. Right?
I actually, to be perfectly frank with you, I agree. I was
I want to lie, but to be frank, I'll agree this time.
Well, and here's where I noticed it. I actually noticed it in my early 20s when I was around when Geek Squad first started out.
Yeah.
And Robert, the founder of Geek Squad, had a team of people that were phenomenal. Now, Geek Squad was a IT company here in the United States that just started out with 3 guys in a room, but Robert, the founder, was this marketing genius, and his team really liked the energy of where they were. They weren't making a ton more money. They weren't doing anything that was all that different than any other IT support company. But the energy and the cool factor of working for that company really became a huge, huge, huge deal. And as probably most of you know, Geek Squad ended up becoming a part of Best Buy over the course of time. So this little company that started out just doing IT repair with a couple people in an office in downtown Minneapolis all suddenly becomes this huge, big, gigantic piece of Best Buy's revenue stream. And, that was all because of the cool factor. And so I think that giving people a place where they're like proud of it, where they're excited to be there, where they think, because I'm here, I'm cool, is I can't imagine any sort of financial benefit outweighing the positive effects to a company that, feeling kind of a part of something important.
That was the second piece I was going to get to, which is the mission, right?
Yeah.
Having a mission, and the bigger the better, frankly. Mm-hmm. Like people are Darren Hardy says that they're dramatically drawn to a large goal. Like Apple's was to make a dent in the universe, right? Now that's a pretty big goal. Totally unrealistic. You're not actually going. It's a figurative dent, but I mean, it just people rallied behind it, and like I said, also the culture, right? And I think a culture is made up of the people who are there, right? And so, what do you stand for? What does your practice stand for?
Right
is really what it comes down to. We are all about the patient experience, and so that means technology and delivering care the way people want to consume it in the highest quality way, right? But I think part of that coming out of this, I think you should reevaluate your mission, how you motivate your team, because it's going to be a challenge.
Yeah. It's a different environment. People are going to come back. Both staff and patients are going to come back skeptical, hesitant, wary of what the next steps are and how do we move into a new mindset. And really, if you have a practice that you had kind of a bummer of a work environment, this is the time to reinvent it. You have a reset button right now. Now is the time to push reset if you are looking for a way to really improve and increase the value of what you do and what you deliver to both your staff and your patients.
Yeah, I mean, one of the most underutilized features within Opera DDS is our intra-office communication system chat.
Yeah.
And I think that the people that use it to drive same-day service get a 30% increase in production, 3-0. I don't know. And by the way, people are way happier because they're able to stay and get work done. It's using intra-office communication to efficiently talk to each other just skyrockets production.
Yep.
It's insane. And by the way, you're having these little texts, like when I'm out of town, I text home all the time, right? I'm thinking of you and stuff. And so it's like we are geared to have these little messages sent back and forth by texting. And if we do that through our office throughout the day, it's hugely motivating. Yeah. You can see, like, this is before we were shut down, but if we're just almost making goal, but not quite, if if Kirsten upstairs sends out a little text message saying, "Oh, just X amount, and we'll be there,"
Right.
you can just feel the energy of the team is lift up, right?
Yep.
And now's the time when we're all in this sort of. I mean, it's going to be by the time this airs, I think a lot of offices will be back up and running in some fashion, and so now's the time to kind of like really be the leader, motivate your team on an hourly basis.
Yeah.
Right. And using intra-office messaging, I think, is the best way to do it. It takes you like seconds, but the impact is huge.
Right. And to what you said earlier, compliments cost you nothing, but are a huge driver for positive results from the staff.
Dave, you are so smart.
I know.
That was such a good comment. You're attractive. Everybody loves you.
Oh, thanks, Bryan.
And thank you for being on this
you're
podcast
so
with me.
You're the master of it.
Oh, I meant every word, man. I meant every word. And thank you for being on this podcast with me, dude.
Thanks, Bryan.